Hello everyone, my name is Leo Cheshire and I'm currently a private pilot who's working on their instrument rating. And for a long time I've had a passion for flight and I'd like to share some of that with you guys today. These are some basic aerodynamic concepts that will be useful, especially if you plan to venture into the field of aviation or have any interest in being an aerospace engineer. So let's get started. Um, there are four main forces that affect an airplane during flight, and they are lift, weight, thrust, and drag. And you see I've color coded it here. Green for the forces that keep you up, and red for the forces that pull you down or hold you back. So let's go through each one of these. Lift. Lift is what makes airplanes fly, and it's a combination of the wind moving over the wings, and we'll get to that in a second when we talk about what makes airplanes fly, but it's what keeps airplanes in the air, essentially. Drag. Drag is air resistance. In a perfect world, there would be no drag because the air moving over the wings is what slows airplanes down. And without this, airplanes would be able to travel much faster, and you wouldn't even need to be continuously accelerating through the air because there'd be no force in the opposite direction pulling you back. Your thrust wouldn't have to be applied the entire time. Next is weight, and this is effectively gravity. So force of gravity is equal to mass times the gravitational constant, 9.8 meters a second. So the heavier your airplane is, and this includes people, gas, baggage, etc., the heavier your airplane is, the more lift you'll have to produce to compensate for this increase in weight. Finally, thrust on the front is what pulls an airplane through the air. It's kind of like driving your car. When you hit the accelerator, the more you hit the accelerator, the more you go through the air. And you're doing this to compensate from the drag that you're producing and also to get to your destination or just go travel through the air faster. Next, I'd like to explain the question of what makes airplanes fly. And airplanes fly because of something called the Bernoulli principle. And the Bernoulli principle states that an increase in the speed of a fluid occurs simultaneously with a decrease in pressure or decrease in the fluid's potential energy. So here on this diagram, we have our relative wind. The airplane is moving through the air from the thrust generated from the engine. It will either, at the front of the leading edge, it will either take the upper or lower path of the wing to pass through the airplane. The upper path, however, is a greater distance than the bottom path, so the air on top must accelerate more or move faster than the air on the bottom part of the wing in order to reach the trailing edge at the same time. And this is what generates lift, as because Bernoulli principle says that as a fluid, the air in this case, as it accelerates, it creates a low pressure system. So on the wing, we have a low pressure system on the upper half of the wing and a high pressure system at the bottom half of the wing. And this is what generates lift, the combination of this low and high pressure, and it pushes the wing up through the air and allows the airplane to fly. I hope you learned something today. Thank you for your attention throughout this video, and I wish you clear skies and tailwinds.